Oh, all right, we're live. We're live. Look at this. Votre is here. Lady Muffin Stuff is here. It is the Love Doctor live stream, episode 72. I haven't even poured a drink yet at this point in time. Welcome to the show. Let me get the drink. For those of you who are just tuning in, make sure you comment. Tell us where you're watching from. Look at the beautiful lighting that Lady Muffin Stuff has. She's got like the double angel wings of shadow behind her. The
do.
fantastic Votre is there with a beautiful shawl on. I have gin Torbay. This is the gin Torbay from Ushkabe, distillery, which is a Quebecois. It's a peat gin. Or peated. Sorry, they said peated. I don't know if it's a translation.
Or just peated one time?
I believe it's just peated the one time. It's not a repeated.
So not repeated, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's still fresh, which I like about my alcohol. I like it when it's like particularly fresh. I think it's
nicely fresh. They do age it. They actually they gave me. Oh, there goes the cork. They gave me a tour of the distillery, located here in Montreal. So they were kind enough to do that because they saw that I've been drinking it on the show. So thank you to them.
Voyons, look at you, Monsieur VIP.
Can I shout out what I'm drinking so I get free bottles? Is that allowed?
Yeah. Oh, do whatever you can. And these people don't actually give me anything either, which is Fever Tree, but it's a great tonic to go with the gin.
That's a really quality tonic. That the Bravo
dear. I have no one who can plug me. Mine is
I got I swung by this cute little place in Nova Scotia called the Coldstream Distillery, and the town that it's in likes to boast that it's the exact halfway point between the equator and the North Pole. So that's got to make pretty good liquor. And I got a apple pie flavored vodka because I was so excited about autumn coming and making autumnal little drinks and pumpkin spice everything. So tonight I'm having a bit of a hot toddy with that. So
that's just off of the Trans Canada Highway, isn't it? Which city is that? Wendy Bonbons is saying hello, everyone.
Produced in small batches, in just made from Nova Scotia. It doesn't say on the bottom. I wish I could remember now.
It's not Amherst. It's not Windsor. I'm trying to remember. I've driven along that highway several times. Spicy Sparkles is saying hello as well. I actually, Wendy Bonbons, I was on the Cosmic Bonbon show, and I actually answered a few of the questions that we have coming in today because people were great in getting their questions in advance. I have a tickle in my throat, so I'm going to drink a little bit of gin.
Cheers to you, Love Doctor.
Thank you. You know what? This is the worst part. I caught a summer cold. I'm double vaxxed. I went and I started a cough, and I got nervous, but I could still smell peanut butter. So I went for an official COVID test, and on the official COVID test, they told me I'm negative. So I was negative on COVID, but I spent a week away from the Vaudeville variety show just in case. And I'm over it, but every now and again I get a little tickle at the back of my throat from that cough that I had for less than a week.
Yes, actually, you're not the first. My best friend, Frenchy Jones, is under the weather right now. So I want to give a big shout out to her birthday. She was luckily able to enjoy her birthday, but she had to miss the Wiggle Room's anniversary show. So lots of love to our Frenchy.
They have to do it again. It doesn't count if Frenchy wasn't there.
Well,
exactly.
That's the theory. I tend to agree with you on that. Yes.
I definitely agree with both of you on that. So that's
and a happy belated birthday to Frenchy.
Exactly. For those who are just tuning in and don't know what the hell is going on, this is the Love Doctor live stream. We're going to be answering your questions about love, sex, and relationships. And I just realized I didn't update this. So I will update that now. And if you want to ask your questions anonymously, you just go to slido.com or sli.do. So both of those work. And it's event code TLD72 to ask your questions anonymously. If you just want to be brave and maybe do a little bit of back and forth with us. I speak English fairly well. It's not my first language, obviously, and you can actually ask your questions in the chat, and we love hearing from you. Just saying hello, telling us what you drink. Spicy Sparkles and Wendy Bonbons have both chimed in already. So I think it's time we get under the way. All right, we're ready. We're set. We're good to go.
Born ready.
All
right.
right.
All that.
Have at it.
I feel the enthusiasm at this point in time.
It's the vodka.
it's the vodka. It's apple pie vodka. So we start at the bottom. All right. That's a rough question to be starting out with. It's on the bottom. So I'll read it out for you, Lady Muffin Stuff. You are in the hot seat. So we're going into this one very, very hard and hot right away. The question is, my partner doesn't want to get vaccinated. I want to respect their choice, but I'm unsure. Lady Muffin Stuff.
I'm not certain what the question is because
there was no French, physical question in there.
Yeah, English is my second language, but in my opinion, there's no question there. However,
if I could interpret, they're saying, I want to respect their choice, but I am unsure. So I think they're looking for advice on how to deal with a partner who does not want to get vaccinated.
Correct. So assuming this is a partner that you have intimate relationships with, we're now talking about your health. If you are vaccinated, that does not keep you from possibly having a breakthrough case and then passing along to other people. I would probably encourage anyone who is hesitant or doesn't want to talk about why, and maybe allow them, first of all, without judgment, but allow them to express what it is that they're concerned about and help them obtain accurate information rather than disinformation. In the end, you are the boss of your body, and you can say, I respect that. However, in the meantime, I wish to isolate, I wish to social distance from you, or whatever it is that you're comfortable with. I would not be kissing someone who is not vaccinated personally. If it was my partner, I would probably make keep some boundaries there.
For keeping boundaries, Lady Muffin Stuff's answer, Votre.
I think we're having a really hot moment for this in light of the vaccine passports that have just gone into effect. And I do think it is like a sign of a very free society that while the vaccines are free and available, they're not mandatory. But that just means you have a responsibility to live like it's 2019 and like stay the hell at home. So I guess it's a complication when you're not in monogamous relationships versus, polyamorous relationships. Like during the quarantine, I wasn't able to see my other partners, and it really, really broke my heart. But it's what I had to do to kind of keep safe before the vaccines were available. Now that all my partners are vaccinated, everyone's taking responsibility. It basically is on par with like our sexual health protection as well, and like just making sure you're checked and making sure you're being smart and using protection and all the rest. And if this is your only partner and they don't want to get vaccinated, I hope they like seeing you at home. I hope they like staying put there, and I hope they like saying goodbye to any of their other partners, because the doors are closed on that one. But that is the freedom to choose and not the freedom from consequences of that choice. So go with God.
There are that is a Votre's choice. I differ. I agree definitely with Lady Muffin Stuff in having the conversation and without judgment to ask. I do want to point out the idea of people who don't want to wear masks, because I'm going to lump, like, there's some people who cannot be vaccinated, and society, we're still trying to figure out how to deal with that, because these people are immune suppressed generally, and that's why they can't be vaccinated. And the people who don't want to wear masks, I'm only going to talk about those types. This is like somebody who telling you, well, I drive better drunk, because they think it is a personal choice because it's affecting them. And if there is going to be harm, the greater chance of the harm will be on them. But there's also a chance that they can be harming others. And the idea of the unvaccinated, I just saw a study. This is the second time Nova Scotia's getting a shout out in tonight's show. If you're watching from Nova Scotia, say hello. I saw the stats from Nova Scotia since March 15th of this year, when they started doing the vaccines in Nova Scotia. I can't remember the exact number of hospitalizations they've had due to COVID, but 94% of those hospitalizations were from people who were unvaccinated. Mm-hmm. Now, people who are vaccinated can get COVID still, and they can be transmissional vectors for people, but their body reacts better and can better fight it, so they don't have it. People who are unvaccinated tend to have long-term effects if they survive, tend to have long-term effects, which include amputations, which include, loss of lung capacity, which include chronic pain for the rest of their lives. And that's the risk. Now, so asking them why that they don't want to do it, and then being ready to understand it and agree with them on some of the things, like, well, it's a new vaccine, I'm a little bit nervous about it. Okay, I understand being nervous about a new vaccine, but this one is actually, well, the Pfizer has the FDA approval, full approval at this point in time. It's had the largest test worldwide because almost everybody's taking it. There has been most of what's in every vaccine shot is something like over 80% is the same in every vaccine you ever receive, because it's basically stuff to keep the virus weak. And so there's no strangeness there. Then you have what's some of the other arguments that people have about getting the vaccine?
Well, in line with a new vaccine, some people have had concerns about how quickly it was developed. One of the things that I was able to learn, because I too was curious, and I was very satisfied by the answers that I received from experts that I trust, was that indeed this technology has been in research since the 80s. It began with trying to find ways of helping with the HIV virus. And so it's actually not new. Another thing I learned is that vaccine development takes such a long time because of money and paperwork and people available to do the trials. And those were all things that were no longer an issue because of the pandemic. So that cut the time dramatically without actually cutting the steps required that were all taken properly. So I'm 100% satisfied and confident in the quality of this vaccine.
John Oliver actually has a wonderful episode on that, so I definitely recommend this week, tonight, one of the past episodes, look for that for John Oliver. One of the other things that people are saying that vaccine passports are like fascism or whatever. All right, I'm pretty sure in Canada it's the same as where I'm from. When I went to grade school, I had to have a piece of paper that said I had my mumps vaccine, that I had my measles vaccine, that I had my whooping cough vaccine.
Yeah, the MMR vaccine is like mumps, measles, and
rubella.
That's it. So it's all one like shot, so that you don't give like so many to little babies. You can get it all done in one. I had a big kind of conflict with a friend of mine recently whose problem with the vaccine is that it's actually not immunization, right? Like we've been talking about how you can still transfer it, you can still get sick, but your body's more equipped to handle it. But all of this was news to this friend of mine who just wanted to like have a big fight about how living in fear of the vaccine is like completely validated because I've taken something that cannot perfectly protect me. And I'm not really interested in living in a world where I'm perfectly protected in anything. I am equipped with my wits and my smarts and my ability to govern myself accordingly for a reason. So it's good enough for me. And at this point, you know, having the patience, finding all that, explaining it to them without condescension, I wish anybody who has that left in them good luck with that, because it's running thin in this house.
This is one of the things in particular about conspiracy theories and people who have this special knowledge, is they will gravitate towards the things that say this is 100% the truth. Nothing can be 100%. Even you can have the mumps vaccine and still get the mumps. That's still a possibility. So you can actually have had the mumps and then get the mumps again. So they say if you get the mumps once, you will never have it again. These are things that it's the way nature is, and understanding that science is a process. It's never a list of facts. Mm-hmm. It is a way of looking at things. And that's what a lot of people have difficulty, because they want to feel safe in knowing, oh, it's 100%. So if somebody tells them with great confidence that this is 100% the truth, then they would feel better hearing that than actually hearing the truth.
Or they'd call bullshit and they'd be like, well, there's no way it's 100%, so I'm not taking it. So they'll just find whatever problem they want with it. And if they don't want to get vaccinated, they should just live inside. They should just live like it's 2019. They should just keep that up. It's still a pandemic. It's not over yet. Join us in the free world in the restaurants at your leisure.
Right.
It is.
Now, if I could bring us
quickly
to bring us back to the topic of sexual health.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that in life, in the world, there are requirements to show vaccination. If you want to put your dog in a kennel, if you want to go to school, I was in dental school many moons ago in my first career. I had to get some vaccines. If I want to go fly across the world, I require vaccines and might have to show proof of that. But the most important thing you want to know right now that has been proven is that COVID affects blood vessels. And there's data about erectile issues long-term post-COVID. So if you want to have a healthy sex life, you might want to try as much as possible to avoid getting COVID or having a severe case of COVID. It also does affect sperm count. So those who are concerned about vaccines causing infertility should know that we definitively have data on those sperm count and erectile dysfunction. So let's keep our peepees healthy so we can enjoy them. Or
nothing
not,
like
or others.
That limp dick cigarette which stopped people from smoking. I like the analogy of the drunk driving. It's my choice if I don't get vaccinated, but it's not the effect is not just you. It can affect other people, and that's why we are asking everybody to be vaccinated. The vaccine passport is a health measure. There was people saying that things are. Spicy Sparkle says they're kind of thinking like you, Votre. And so these are.
I know those East Coast girls got no patience.
none whatsoever.
Because they're drinking cold stream clear.
Shout out to the East Coast. They're my favorite peeps.
We are. Wendy Bonbons is out in Newfoundland as well. So that's yes, it's Newfoundland. I almost said Newfoundland. It's going back to the roots. But there is it's you affect other people. On top of that, the unvaccinated are more likely to be have it more severely and be vectors for a new variant. And that new variant is something that could be Wendy Bonbons is there, which could possibly drive more explosion, have it be more severe for people. The fact that people are having their legs chopped off because of blood clots, because of from the severe coughing.
That's crazy to me. I had no idea it got that bad, but I was reasonably frightened in the first place. So.
Well, there are organ transplants right now going on, and if you think that's tough to deal with, you're going to take medicine and immunosuppressants the rest of your life.
Can we just mention Joe Rogan for a moment? Okay, I need to point out that Joe
competition.
We're not competition to Joe Rogan whatsoever. We're not a blip on the radar to Joe Rogan. But Joe Rogan has spent a career calling people sheep for following, what he calls scientific or scientish trends. As much as he's come around on a lot of conspiracy theories to go, oh, you know what? I think that was bullshit. But he is now taking Ivectin, which is a sheep dewormer. So he's actually taking medication as if he's a sheep. I just putting that out there for somebody called it the Joe Rona experience.
So, Love Doctor, you're saying that Joe Rogan is a bad man?
I hope he bleats it.
Oh, all right. I think it is time now for another question before we get into more puns. Please deliver us our questions. Wendy Bonbons with her cheer was to say yes. All right. We are moving on to the next question. The next question is my partner has a rockin' body but always covers herself in baggy, unfitted clothing. I see guys checking her out, but she doesn't see herself as sexy. How can I help her realize what I see? That is the question that we have. This is I'm going to say this is a tender question because some people do not feel comfortable being sexualized, and when and where it happens, it is not. You need to make sure that you show them that you love them, and obviously if you consider them your partner, you are showing that you love them as the whole person. And they may not feel that just having that validation from you physically is enough, but giving them that validation is good. Depending on their comfort level, it's sometimes nice to sort of give them a nudge. Hey, did you see that person was checking you out? I do recommend that you save it for people that they might think are hot, because if it's somebody, if it's like some grandpa there, just who is not wearing his dentures that day, is checking her out, that might not be a cool thing for her to think is sexualizing your partner. They're saying her because I'm saying her because her was in the question. But at the other time, just give positive reinforcement in how you enjoy their body as well as the whole of them is what I would give as advice for that time. But be conscious for what they are comfortable with. Lady Muffin Stuff.
Well, that breaks my heart because I am a very big proponent of body positivity and feeling good in your skin. If your partner feels more comfortable wearing baggy clothes in public, that's fine. If this is something that is hindering her intimacy with you as a partner, that might be an issue of body dysmorphia that needs to be addressed with professionals. I remember way back in the day, I had a partner who showed me some pictures of sculptures of women who had my silhouette. And it opened my eyes to the fact that even though I didn't fit the standard at one time, my silhouette was very much celebrated. And why my partner, he found me to be extremely, desirable and whatnot. And aside from, addressing those issues with therapists, I was able to change some things about how I felt back then. But I think a good conversation should be had. I don't know what the reality is when the two of you are alone and intimate. What do you think?
I'm thinking that's a great answer.
I'm getting a portrait of a person who is insecure, like it's described. You've described your partner as being like dismissive of your drawing attention to other people appreciating their body, and perhaps that's not the case. Like I want to say, like maybe there's like a perspective thing going on here. It's entirely possible your partner like knows that they're a healthy and happy person and is just more comfortable kind of frumping up, and that rock and bods are in the eye of the beholder. But if she's comfortable with it, then that's fine. I wouldn't want her to like self-efface and not believe that she has all the beauty that you see in her. And I wonder if pointing out to the validation of other people is the most effective way to do that, rather than using your own inspiration towards poetry and using your own use of household mirrors, perhaps, and personal photography, perhaps, to show how she appears in your eyes. These are all beautiful activities that I think couples can indulge in that don't bring in the, perhaps less compassionate, leering gaze of random people on the street or friends of yours or anything else. I myself am kind of a voyeur. Like nothing turns me on more than having someone I love be appreciated by someone else I think is hot. Like that's like a dynamic I'm really into. If that's something that you guys see yourselves in down the line, but I would explore with different mediums like photography and mirrors and music and stuff. If you think that her eyes need to be open to the way that you see her, because that's very exciting.
I think both of you brought up great points. I did do with a friend who felt that they were unattractive. I used the point of other people checking them out who were hot people, sort of to help build up their view of themselves at a time, and that's why I mentioned that as part of my advice. But I agree that both of you have wonderful takes on that, which I think, and again, it comes down to discussion and supporting your partner, who they are. I'm definitely was not saying tell them not to dress frumpy. Dress how you like. It's your body, your choice. Mm-hmm. We're ready for the next question?
Oh, yeah.
Next question we have is, yay or nay, role playing with different names. Yay or nay, role playing with different names. Votre dame.
Yay! I got a few. A couple of them are from Shakespeare plays. A few of them are from fan fiction, and some of them are just noble titles I've given myself.
Boom. I generally, yay. I don't want to yuck anyone's yum, but you have to be careful about what names you're using, because if it's your neighbor Steve, that might make it a bit uncomfortable in the bedroom. So generally, yay, but make sure that there's a comfort level with everybody who's involved in the situation. Lady Muffin Stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, I again probably stay away from parental names, because that can get weird. But that's definitely not off limits. In fact, it's like kind of like a starting point. They're like, "Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm here to wash your windows today."
Definitely, and I again, I don't want to yuck other people's yum, because there are some people who like to call their partner daddy or.
Well, this is what I was thinking. Like, you mean like not calling her Margaret if like her grandma's name is Margaret? Like, yeah, but I'm like, obviously call her Mamacita, etc., etc.
Yes, like, hey, Mama, you're great, and all this stuff. But there was a song that I had to not sing because the love person had my father's name. I was like, yeah, and I couldn't figure out a way to change it. And I was like, this is just not going to work for me. So if the person comes in and be like, "Hi, I'm Joe," I'm like,
not anymore. You're not. Now you're rain guard, and that's what I'm going to call you in the bedroom.
Right.
And if you're being intimate as part of a public performance, you want to make sure you're not taking a copyrighted name without giving reference. But who doesn't find an Ewok sexy? Probably
Screven Larper. That's my kinky daddy dom name. Like, can't trademark that.
There we are. So, all right. I'm just what's the weirdest thing that you've been called in bed? Anyone, if you want to share.
The encyclopedia is spinning in my mind right now. I guess I don't like baby girl. I don't really like diminutives, Like, I want to be like aggrandized. I want to be brought up like, sweetie, princess. I don't know. Princess is fine, honestly. Let's be real. But like, Maestra, your majesty. I want to be big.
Lady Muffin Stuff.
I can't think of a name that I've been called that was like weird, but I will say something that is still part of my, legendary things is I had a partner there admiring my lady business and said in French, "C'est beau une plotte," which is really not sexy at all.
No.
But that's like, you're not supposed to laugh in bed, but I was laughing. And then I told all my girlfriends, and then we said that to each other for years. And does anyone need a translation?
I understand.
East Coast girls, maybe, yeah.
Okay, so basically, plut is like kind of like it's like a word for the lady business, but it's not pretty. It's not like the C word, but it's kind of on the way to the C word. And he was admiring, and he said this, and I just thought it was hilarious. So, yeah.
It's along the lines of a word that begins and ends with T and has a WA in the middle, I think.
Which en anglais works for me because it's not, you know, is anybody else like off put by like the fact that so much slang and terms for like vulvas in French is all masculine? Like someone had a tweet about that. Like if it's le vagin or un plut, it's like then it's all gay sex. You can't have like sex with a woman in French.
As I'm trying to learn French, that's a revelation for me.
I don't want to be that person, but it's une plut. Thank you very much, by the way.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
Thank goodness. I'm so glad we have some great feminine terms for it now.
But if you want to,
someone alert the novelists. We have a new term.
Plut comes from it used to be like a little ball, and you could put like pins in it, like to like pin cushion or whatever. And so, you know, basically it looks like a little woolen little ball.
Yeah, that's all.
So it's kind of like a mound.
We had a number of comments come in. Wendy Bonbon was saying, "Yes, baby girl is mine." There we are. There's Spicy Sparkles saying, "I should make people call me Your Majesty. God damn, it makes me feel cool." For me, probably baby girl too. Wendy. Okay, Wendy asked for the translation. Spicy Sparkles is a vagina is really gross. No, it's not. It's a delicious thing. If someone call you a bed plot, you know he's got no respect for you. You know, I thought that would be a descriptor for a film. I like the film. It had a bad plot. There's.
I didn't see that.
That joke is actually inspired by a comedian who just passed away. Who he died in Quebec. He was born in New Brunswick. Andrew Albert. He just passed away at the young age of 46. He had a heart attack. He had a congenital heart disease. He died in his sleep. So just 2-3 weeks ago now. It's a tragedy. Spicy Sparkles is going, oh wow, all right. So I'm not sure exactly what that one is for. I've been called baby, and that's a softener for me. That is no. I don't like that. I've generally dated age appropriate people, and I always, anytime that I've been outside that a little bit, hearing daddy is makes me wonder who their mom was and if I knew them, because that feels a little bit nervous. Just say it. Just all right. Awkward. That
could be.
That was awkward. All right.
That was awkward.
We're gonna power through, you guys. We're gonna
power through. We're powered through to the next question.
Yes.
For those of you who are watching though right now, just hit the like and subscribe. Make sure that you are following us on YouTube. Subscribe. We're pushing up towards 100 subscribers, which will allow us to change the name of the YouTube channel, so it would be easier for people to find. So please do that. Hit like and hit subscribe. Those little likes that you put onto the channel make a huge difference for us, because it tells the algorithms that we're worth sharing. And same goes with the comments. So, and also share, what name do you like to be called in bed? If you want to share that in the chat as well, as we move on to our next question, which is, I find when I wear red or blue, I feel more confident and sexy. Do you have a color that makes you feel that way, and why? And Lady Muffin Stuff, you actually have this question first.
Oh, don't know if I have a color. I mean, I really like pink and different versions of pink. So oftentimes it makes me happy, but the thing that makes me the happiest is pockets in my dress. That I'm always so happy when I have pockets. It's immeasurable. But regardless of the color, when you have that dress that fits just right and you're feeling yourself, isn't that nice? Isn't that a nice feeling? And then add pockets to that, it's like exponential.
That is great, Lady Muffin Stuff. Pockets. Pockets is your favorite color.
Yeah.
Votre.
I think our questioner has tapped into the power of primary colors, like bold and red, like these bold red and blue colors, like they command a certain power, which is why I think I'm always on the gold kick. Gold accents really go with everything. I love my blacks, I love my reds, and I got kind of a taste for power when I wore some tiaras and some public speaking competitions that I had. So my new thing now is just these like bold hairbands that are like casual enough you can wear them out. Like, oh, it's no big deal, it's just a hairband, but everybody knows it's a diadem of your mighty strength and they get out of your way wherever you go. So combine that with a nice stately purple or blue or any like strong kind of jewel tone like that. That's really where I'm at. The jewel tones are really like a power point for me. So like a deep red, a deep blue, or deep purple burgundy. I don't know. Those are good for me. Right now we're coming into autumn, so I finally get to wear the clothes that like make me feel confident because I'm not chafing in them. I'm comfortable in them. It's textures like velvet and cotton that are kind of unbearable to wear all summer. So I'm really coming into my own. The power colors are rising.
Boom, power
that crown
colors.
Suits you, yes.
I just want to put out Witty Bonbon saying, pockets in your lingerie, girl. Let's get you some going on. Pockets in lingerie.
Also lingerie.
Better,
there's
best
pockets in there.
Men should have pockets in their lingerie, something to carry condoms in, because it's not just women being responsible for birth control. Spicy Sparkles is saying, amen, pockets are the best. And you know what? A lot of people are probably going to expect me to say green, but I went through the goth phase, so I had a lot of black, and it felt good wearing a lot of black as well.
Nice.
It's a combination though. I like solid colors. I know I'm wearing plaid right now, but I like solid. Give me a solid color, and I feel better. And also button-up shirts. Because I have a rather thick neck as a gentleman, and I do not just t-shirts sometimes make me feel like I'm being strangled. So let me have a button-up shirt. So button-up shirt, if I want to be fancy, I'll wear a loose tie, but solid colors are important for me, and that is my answer to that question.
Can I say about button-up shirts that, oh my God, when men roll up their sleeves on their cuffed long sleeves, I find that just so sexy, and I do not know why. I just like the peak of a little arm hair on a forearm does great things for me.
Again, it comes down to the comfort thing. So the tight around the neck, I feel strangled. I also feel restricted if I have something around the wrist. So it's always been rolled up. Occasionally, I went through a little bit of a kind of a hippie phase where I just didn't unbutton it, so it would sort of flare out and move in the wind when I waved my arms. But again, the roll up is kind of the standard with that. So yeah, definitely nothing firm on the cuffs and nothing firm around the neck, and make it a solid color. And the added benefit as a heterosis male is, when you have your female friends steal or borrow one of your button-up shirts, they look so fantastic.
Yeah.
Not that that's an invite to anyone who's out there watching to come raid my closet, because fucking I want that shirt. It's clean for a reason, but I won't be mad for long.
Aside from colors, the thing that turns me on is smells. Like, when you smell your partner's clothing when they're not there, or their pillow hasn't been washed yet, or what have you.
I do like that.
The idea that too is, I had a partner who would take my T-shirts would disappear, and then I go over and I find out that my T-shirts are on their pillow.
Oh.
So they'd have my T-shirt is being worn by the pillow.
So cute.
Yeah, not that felt it was creepy at the time or anything. Not till after.
Creepy.
It's sentimental, but also you need shirts like.
yeah, and sentimental with a C in there. SC. Sorry, bad pun. Bad pun. Time for the next question. What was that?
I said that was good, but it took me a minute to figure. Yeah.
You know what? I love comedians who count on us thinking. I hate comedians who do the thing where it has to be, oh, everyone has to understand it right away. I know that's kind of their goal, but I'd rather have a comedian who isn't talking to everyone and they're talking to the people who understand.
You know, before they opened up the venues again, I tried out a joke on this show that the doctor scolded me ruthlessly, saying puns are the lowest form of humor, and like really being super disappointed in this great long setup pun that I pulled off. And every single time I've told it on stage since, it has killed. So it's in the act now.
I want to point. I don't. You only said half of the advice that I said on that point.
Okay.
Puns are the lowest form of humor until you get the chance to use them.
Mm-hmm. So
I felt mad scolded.
What was that, Lady Muffin Stuff?
So then what you're saying is you're not a hypocrite.
No, not at all.
Her out with the puns and then coming out with the pun. Okay,
they were good enough for Shakespeare and Socrates. They're good enough for me. It is a great relief to put your brain in first gear and lock down into a dumb joke.
I'm just saying, not all of the jokes should be the dumb jokes.
No, you gave us that great one about Rogan treating himself like a sheep, and I was like, wow, really makes you think. So I need the foil. I need the foil to making me think, make me unthink, you know?
Exactly. We new questions are coming in. That's great. Keep the questions coming. And we still have a pile to go through here. So let's bring up the next question. The next question we have: getting over a breakup is never easy, but I'm lucky to have good friends in life and an emotional support Canadian to boot. What are healthy ways to get over losing someone? Love from Vermont. So this question comes all the way from the American colonies. How did I go first last time? How am I in the first spot? All right. I'm gonna. There's an old recipe for getting over people. The best way to get over someone is to get underneath someone else. Anytime with a relationship, you need to go through the 5 stages of grief, and then you need to realize that you are attractive, because that's the hardest part of a breakup, is feeling that you are now like not worthy of a relationship, and you need to go through the anger, the denial, basically the stages of grief. I can't remember all 5 off the top of my head, and come to acceptance, and then find a person. Now, one of the worst things you can do is actually just kind of jump into another relationship, because then you haven't fully healed from the wounds from the last one. And that is a hard thing, and it's hard to struggle, especially if you meet someone amazing right away. You need to sort of hold on to that as much as you want to hold on to them. But yeah, generally finding someone who finds you attractive helps you recover your equilibrium after a breakup. Lady Muffin Stuff.
Well, first, lots of love to you in Vermont for your heartbreak. I think we all can see ourselves in that situation, and I am thrilled to know that you have good friends and a good support system. I recommend cheesecake if that's your thing. That always helps me. And some walks, not to stay indoors too much. Let yourself wallow. Do what you need to do with the cheesecake and the sweatpants and what have you. But then get out and just keep going and do those things you love. And if you like a certain activity, maybe do that a little bit more, distract yourself, and you'll get through this.
Boom. Great answers.
I was just going to say that Vermont is famous for its ice cream and its cheese, and that's a wonderful place to start. So do keep that up. But in balance, I find a great way of falling back in love with yourself is through any kind of physical activity. So whether that's a sport where you might meet new team players and kind of make a new circle of friends to get you through things amongst your emotional support Canadians, I would also advise getting in touch with the people who do the Vermont Burlesque Festival down there and seeing what they need, because you'll find a great dazzling distraction and a beautiful way to fall back in love with yourself.
Good stuff.
Boom. Good answers on all of these. Physical activity is also proven to help fight depression. So these are all great answers. Cheesecake, you had me at cheesecake. Just
Ben and Jerry's and Brie.
Okay, you know what? I went to a bacon party at one time. I got invited to a bacon party. Everyone had to bring a bacon dish. And so
sorry, they're baking like cakes and stuff, or bacon like ham?
Bacon like ham.
All right.
Oh, okay.
And so you had to say what type of, whether it's an appetizer or an entree or whatever that you were bringing. So it wasn't too much of any one thing. I chose a dessert. And what I made, and it was fairly popular, I made what I called an Elvis cheesecake. So it was a banana and peanut butter with chocolate swirled cheesecake that I covered with caramelized bacon. Like just over the top, like crumbled caramelized bacon.
Yeah, there's no way that's bad. That's got to be so good. It's going to be a weird flavor palette, but I'm into it. I like the way you think. We can trust him. He's a doctor.
No, I'm not a doctor. My family name is Doctor. If I was an actual doctor, I would have finished grade school. All right, there's a difference there. We don't want to people to think that I am a medical doctor. That is not the case. Oh my God, sounds yummy. I'm hungry now. There we are. It's well, you just have to invite me to your bacon parties. That's all the way. Where is it? Let's move on to the next question. Are we ready for the next question?
Yes.
The next question is, when's the best time to do it? When's the best time to do it? Votre.
I love it in the afternoon. Morning is too sudden, and I'm not grounded. I'm not disengaged from my crazy dreams. And nighttime is too lazy and too exciting at the same time. Like, you're either out and you're having a great time, making yourself exhausted or not. So yeah, if you can get home from work early, if you can keep a lunch break going a little bit, that's the sweet spot for me.
Boom. There's the sweet spot. You know what? When everybody participating consents, that's usually the best time. And I don't want any reluctant consent. Everybody enthusiastically consents. That is the best time. But I'm just to be honorary, I'm just gonna say I kind of have a preference for morning sex. Lady Muffin Stuff.
I've been on the record about morning sex. It's a great way to start the day. You cannot be the best time is when there's a thunderstorm. If you got a thunderstorm and you can have like the windows open, maybe there's some trees outside catching the raindrops on them, the smell of the thunderstorm and the rain, that's an excellent time.
Boom. Yeah, the smell of rain on the air, like when it's about to happen or even during the thunderstorm, that's such a sensual thing.
So beautiful.
I love how you think there, Lady Muffin Stuff. Definitely.
Thank you. Definitely. I love the bacon party. I'd love to get an invite the next time there's a bacon party.
Bacon on the brain.
Everything had bacon. The salad had bacon. It was.
Well, yeah.
Next question that we have is, why don't we handwrite love letters anymore?
Oh.
Lady Muffin Stuff.
No good reason that I can think of. You should definitely write love letters, and doesn't need to be to a partner. I mentioned Frenchy Jones earlier, who is a very good friend of mine. She's the friend that I've sent the most love letters to. And there's like little cards or things like that historically throughout our friendship. Um, uh, my big sister taught me that when she would send me a card or anything, just cause I was thrilled, and I realized how fun it is to get mail. Send someone a thank you note after they've been to your house for a party and see the reactions from these people.
Votre dame.
I was really raised on the philosophy of thank you notes. They do go a heck of a long way. I've been bad about my Christmas cards, but my God, a love letter. I think people don't do it anymore because everyone's handwriting is embarrassing, which is why I have launched my lifelong campaign. I have like Tolkienian level cursive. Okay. It's like beautiful, but hard to read. And I relish any opportunity I can to write a big, long, emotional card, to just dump my purse out all into this envelope and let it hang out. And all my favorite romantic heroes have always explained themselves in the written word, have always come to justify and beg forgiveness in the written word. And I'm just a very verbal person. I like lyrics in the song. I like verbal words of affirmation as a love language. Like, I think it's a lack of appreciation for the power of words, because we're just a bit more of like an era of spectacle, rather than an era of ideas. And I think that might be it.
I want to. So is that? Sorry, I should ask that why we're all in equal sized windows. So the praise kink is one of your kinks. Would you say that?
Is that a kink? Yeah,
that is a kink. There's some people who like to receive praise. They find that exciting.
I like praise. I don't know if it's because I find it sexually arousing, but I like it.
I think I'm more of like a compliment sandwich like person. Like, I really do. I know someone cares deeply and is like invested in my art and invested in my ideas when I get really pointed criticism that proves that they were listening and that they were having ideas while they listened to me. So I'm open to that. I don't need.
But the sandwich part is the fact that it's before and after.
You have to be nice to me. To say. Exactly.
I'm all right. I'm so fucking guilty on this one. I have lost the ability to do cursive. I mean,
you didn't finish grade school.
I didn't finish grade school. I did at one time thought that, when I was a young teen or preteen or whatever, I thought I was going to get a job lettering comic books. And so my block letters are fantastic. And that's a lot of the way I communicate. I also think with the immediacy of communication that we have now, there's less thought needed. So people do not put the thought into the communication as well. And it is instantaneous. The idea of love letters and the classic love letters were when the only way to talk to somebody the next town over was to write a letter, give it to somebody else who was on a horse, and have that horse, take that rider over to the next community and hand it to them. And I think that made us people thought about it. They had the time to go, okay, I best get this right. No vagaries on this one. No, they had no vague booking, whatever. You wanted to put the best kind of phrasing forward. You mentioned Shakespeare earlier. Shakespeare would make up words. He made up words that we use today. Dickens did the same thing. They would make up words that would convey a feeling, because it's so hard to convey tone with a typed word. With written, you can kind of give it by varying the size of the letters a little bit more, or underscore or the little line, or you could physically write something in around it. But classic love letters were done with love, and the love with the penmanship would come through. It's the amount of there's tons of comedians who I appreciate who do examples of love letters written in World War One compared to love letters written in Afghanistan. It's like
although I would say, especially for dating it to World War one of my favorite things to bust out around Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day for that matter is the love letters that we still have preserved that James Joyce wrote home to his beautiful Nora, and they are positively disgusting, but because he's such a master language deviant freak poet, it's electric, and it makes you really see the appeal to, like, the scatological stuff he was into and stuff like this. I'm like, wow, the genius of this man really is turning me around to this, and it's just like nuts to me that like his great grandchildren do actually walk this earth and are in charge of this estate that has to have their great grandfathers like dripping disgusting love letters to their great grandmother like published every now and again and sent to different people all over the world. And he was really quite at the edge of that. Real master of the love letter who brought it into the sexting and all the rest of it.
it wasn't just even like we're not talking about love letters. Specifically, her farts.
Yep.
I think, yeah, her farts, her asshole. Just he had a definite love for her entire body.
Skid
but he
marks
would specify
and noises, and yes, specifically.
Wow, that's love. That is
played to perfection
else.
By Ewan McGregor in this movie in 2001. Actually,
right now we may not all be poets. However, if you send someone something in the mail, they will know the effort that you made to send them that, and that's a geste is an act of love, and just that alone. I don't know if I can describe my lover's farts with great artistry.
No,
probably not.
We can say thank you for good parties. In simple words.
That is a possibility. I do want to mention at this point in time, because we are getting low on questions, so if you have questions, definitely put them in. Go to slido.com or sli.do, event code TLD72 to get your questions asked. But running at the bottom right now is the link tree where you can actually donate. And that's a sort of love letter to the performers you're seeing.
It's a very valid love language, indeed.
It's definitely, they will be here. So it's Votre and Lady Muffin Stuff and myself will share equally in anything that's donated in the next 24 hours to this channel. So please.
That'd be very much appreciated. Thank you.
It is appreciated, especially over this time. Things are beginning to open up, but there's been, 18 months that live performance was basically not happening, and performers lost a lot of their income because of that. So we understand if you can't, please at least hit like, because that will cost you nothing. But if you can donate, you can go to the link tree. So it's a linktr.ee/Paul Ash. That's my manager. The first link there says buy me a drink, and anything that you donate there will be divided among myself and these two wonderful performers that I'm here with, Lady Muffin Stuff and Votre. And please give us a couple more questions so we can keep going, because we are at the hour point, but we like to do at least 90 minutes. So let's see what the next question brings. With hockey season coming down, how do I keep my man's focus on me and not the Bruins? Here we go. All right. We're based in Montreal, and a lot of people in Montreal are going to immediately be turned off by hearing the word Bruins and somebody liking the Bruins. I do want to point out, here we go. Third shout out for Nova Scotia at this point in time. Nova Scotia was the Halifax, Nova Scotia was the site of the largest man-made pre-atomic explosion in the world, and that was the Halifax explosion. It was I believe it's one of the three great tragedies that made that city, and in that city 10,000 people died. There's people's shadows were burned into walls. The community of The shoreline community of Halifax, the shoreline community of Dartmouth were obliterated. The native community that was at Tufts Cove was removed from the face of the earth. The death and destruction was horrible. Tidal waves hit Newfoundland, and the very first city that actually responded was Boston. Boston was the first city to send aid to Halifax. So for people who want to boo whenever they hear the Bruins, I say, hey, Boston gets a pass from me. Nova Scotia, I think, sends them a Christmas tree every year. So it doesn't matter that they have a shitty hockey team. They are good people. So,
I love stories like that. Yeah.
There's parts. I think the Hydrostone. I took a tour of the Hydrostone when I was in Halifax, and the Hydrostone is an area of Halifax that was built by Bostonian stonemasons. So it still has that Bostonian feel. It's a Bostonian architecture in a section of Halifax that has not been rebuilt. So Strato is saying, hey there, welcome to the show, Strato. If you have questions about love, sex, and relationship, we will be answering them. Yeah, so that is the thing about Boston and about Halifax. Halifax is. I'm just going to ask this. I'm going to throw this out later for us to answer after this question. But do you know the 3 tragedies of Halifax? But Lady Muffin Stuff, give you a chance to Google it while we answer this one.
I do not know the 3 tragedies of Halifax, which in itself is a tragedy, I believe. And I apologize. I will rectify and educate myself appropriately. Now, getting on to the hockey situation. Okay. Many moons ago, I met someone who was a very big hockey fan. And this was Montreal, Canadian, so I don't know if this is applicable to the Bruins. But there was this thing called RDS Express. Basically, it was sort of like the whole hockey game in 30 minutes. And it played at midnight. So when there were several hockey games that week or, in the period of time, we would be like one on, one off kind of thing, Now there's the whole TiVo and DVR situation. So maybe talk, deal some stuff when it's time to watch the game, participate, make some bacon appetizers. Bacon wrapped dates are always a good thing. You can stuff them with cheese. Or and then the other time it's you don't watch the game and it's TiVo'd and they can watch it on sort of fast forward later on. That's my 2 cents.
All right, so just to tease them with bacon and have them watch it after the event.
You give them way too much credit to have that kind of patience, Lady Muffin Stuff. These fans cannot watch it later. They will not put you first. It behooves us hockey wives to get behind the campaign. This was my first year where the Canadians you may have seen did quite well for themselves. And that semifinals, I got to go out and watch these games live with this partner who I was kind of just in the first year with. And I saw him in this whole new light. I saw this passion light up his eyes. I saw this childlike wonder completely explode in his heart. We watched the semifinals in a big baseball diamond in a local park. And when we won, there were fireworks and he scooped me up in his arms and he kissed me. And it was so romantic and so passionate. But then we went to the finals and we got spanked by Miami super hard. And my
not in a good way.
No, my mercurial man was absolutely completely thrown out of it. I was a little. It's all fun and games when your team is doing well, so cheer on for them and be a good ally and make the bacon snacks and stuff at this. But you also have to be there for them when the fucking team is not doing so well as well. So I would strap in. I would stock up on lots to drink. I would make sure there's your man snacks and then you're getting through it equipment. But don't compete. It's not it's apples and oranges. You can't compete with this. I would just try to get on board, honey.
Right. Well, this was clearly many years ago, so there was not a situation of the playoffs. So, regular season, there's like games every week or what have you. And
you
then,
can TiVo
that was negotiable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's a whole other ball game when it comes to the finals and what have you. So yes, I acknowledge what you're saying. That would not.
It is indeed a whole other ball game.
No.
All right. It's it's not a ball game. It's a puck game. All right. That wasn't really meant to be a joke, but yes. There is. All right. When I first was in Canada, one of the things I got to do, I worked tourism in Nova Scotia. This is why I know Nova Scotia facts. But do you know the 3 tragedies that formed Nova Scotia? Is there anyone?
Fun, sexy drinking conversation topics. No, I don't know the sad story behind how Halifax became a capital of the East Coast.
Well, drinking is involved in at least one of these.
I bet it is. I've been there once, and that was my takeaway. I took it away.
Lady Muffin Stuff, do you have any idea?
Well, the 3 tragedies of Nova Scotia, according to Google, did not come up with an actual list. So there was regrettably, some attacks in 2020, but no, none. I knew about those recent ones, but
I'm not trying to gloss over any of the troublesome history that is in there.
I knew about 9/11, how they had everyone over and they took care of the people who their flights were redirected. Yeah.
Yes, they did. They were actually very welcoming, as was Newfoundland with Goose Bay and St. John's. Both those places took a lot of planes that were redirected, and people, and even Moncton, which wasn't an international airport at the time, and local residents, because there were not enough hotels, took these stranded travelers into their homes. That just kind of goes with the East Coast, the people out there and their kindness and their welcoming, which is great. I was looking at historical grand tragedies, but and if we're gonna, I do not want to gloss over the tragedy of Africville, which I'm not including among those. Africville, Google Africville, take a look. There's a documentary about Africville, which was a part of land that was predominantly black settlers who were living at, that the city never decided to give water or electricity to, and then they confiscated the land to build a bridge. And so the people were dispossessed of the homes that they've known for generations. Just so the city could build a bridge. So that, not to gloss over that part, but the tragedy of the Halifax explosion is a grand tragedy. So just speaking about Halifax, not Nova Scotia in general, that was a tragedy. It was such a big tragedy, they actually had a second one. There's 2 Halifax explosions. So there's the second Halifax explosion as well, where somebody accidentally dropped a cigarette on a pier where they were loading munitions, and that was in the Second World War. The first one happened in 1719, I believe, at the end of the First World War. The second one, there was a big underground munitions depot that caught on fire. It was called Munitions Hill. Munitions Hill is shorter now than it was back then because they blew the top of it. Fire went for 24 hours with just bombs going off constantly, raining munitions down into different communities as well as into the harbor itself. There's still sections of the harbor where you cannot drop anchor because of unexploded bombs on the sea floor, on the harbor floor. And the third one is Victory in Europe Day. So Victory in Europe, when Victory in Europe was declared in World War II, they went and the mayor made it a holiday and said everybody will have the day off. Everybody has the day off, including people who work at bars. So we're shutting down all the bars, shutting down all the nightclubs and all that. Spicy. Yeah, the Halifax explosions were horrible. The loss of life, the greatest loss of life was the first Halifax explosion. The second one, because everything was closed, people broke into the brewery. They broke into any store that sold alcohol, and they just started partying in the streets with the stolen alcohol. And it is called the VE Day riots. Among for those who want to look up the historical, the people commandeered railway trams because they didn't have buses at the time. They just took over the city for drinking and revelry in the streets because victory over Germany had occurred and the papers were signed.
And I mean, if you're looking for a really good reason to do crimes like that, that's a really good reason.
The mayor should have said, okay, you know what? If you want to sell alcohol, you should probably still work. You're going to do a lot of business today.
It's like, I might be stealing all this beer, but at least I'm not a goddamn Nazi, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much how it was.
This was not well thought out. I mean, I understand the idea behind it, the good intentions, but yeah, don't get between Nova Scotian and their drinking. They're celebrating.
Well, not only that, it was the landing. It was the final destination for soldiers who were going to Europe. So there was Canadians from all across the country, all these men from across the country, who just found out that they didn't have to go to Europe to fight,
yeah, my idiot brain was saying like, oh, why didn't they plan it better? As if you could have anticipated like the day of victory.
The day of victory. And it's like the mayor was just so excited. Everybody should have the day off. And
guys, don't tell the allies or anything, but we're really thinking we're going to pull it off today. So make sure you boarded up all your windows because it's going to be lit.
Yeah. It was so inconsiderate of them to not give us like at least a couple of weeks to plan.
Halifax is also the site of Pier 21, which is Canada's Ellis Island. For those living in Montreal, a lot of the Italian immigrants that came to Canada came through there. It's the Ellis Island of Canada. Was this Pier 21.
The archivist at Pier 21 found a photo of my grandfather for me, and he went back there to give a testimony of his journey from Ireland to Canada that brought him to Pier 21. And you can hear that testimony. It is long and very Irish and very slow and well-paced, the way my granddad would do it. You can hear that at the museum.
And in Ottawa, on Preston Street, there's actually a mural of Pier 21 because that's literally Italy in Ottawa, and it's such an important icon to the Italian Canadians who came here post World War II, or even during the end of World War II.
I have a fun Halifax question before we move on from this fixation. Does anybody have a favorite name of a Halifax bar? Because every time I talk to Halifaxers about Halifacians, about what bar we were going to, it sounded like they were pulling my leg. I was like, these are not real names of bars, but there's Your Father's Mustache. There's something called the Toothy Moose. There's the Economy Shoe Store.
Shoe shop.
You're just making these up. These are not real places. This cannot possibly be a thing. Sure, we're gonna start drinking over at Old Lady Greta's Gorgeous Legs and move on down to the Hatch and the Floorboard pub. Like this is just made up nonsense.
There are different names that have like a lot of historical context. Like I believe the Toothy Moose is newer. Your Father's Mustache, I think, was born sort of in the 80s. My parents when they visited Halifax, went to the Orpheum, I think it was called. There are what else? There's the oldest bar in the city, or one of the two oldest bars. I can't remember which one is actually the oldest. Is there's the Seahorse, which actually in the 50s was a gay bar in Halifax, so in downtown. And then there's the Split Crow, which I believe became the Split Crow because it was actually the German crest of arms. So during World War One, because it's the double-headed eagle or hawk, They refer to it as the Split Crow rather than acknowledge its German history. That's the Split Crow, and these places have been constantly open since, I don't know. They had to have been rebuilt after the Halifax explosion because that leveled the city. We have a number of questions coming in that we should probably get to.
I'll get over my love of Halifax. I will be fine. I will get over this.
I feel I need to go to the Toothy Moose. Like it's like was it named the Tooth? Did someone have a speech impediment when they named it? I don't know. Like
I believe it. Well, it has a giant artificial moose head, like about 18 feet across, hanging outside of it, with a big goofy smile and buck teeth.
Yeah, it's probably the more gimmicky of them all.
They also, there was a time, I'm not sure if it's still standard, but they had more bars per capita than any other city in North America.
I heard that stat when I was there. Yeah.
And they, in the 5 most bars per capita of any city in the world, they were, I think, number 3 or number 4, and the other 3 were all in Scotland.
Keep it up, NS.
You don't always need a liquor license in Ireland. Just saying. But let's get on to the questions. Yes, questions. I had fun. I did tourism in Nova Scotia. I enjoyed that place. There's first one here is my girlfriend lies to wait staff that it's my birthday, so they won't give me the bill. I make a good deal more than her, but she always does it. Should I do something? I love her, but I've had 7 birthdays this year, so you're obviously the older of the two. Votre dame.
I mean, I would only pull that grift if I was getting cake out of it, honestly. If it's just, if it strikes you as it's not like a class act, then I don't know what to tell you, man. Just like start sending her money when she's not looking. Just start e-transferring her without a notification if it really hurts you that much. But hey, seems like you're well taken care of by your sugar mama. Maybe you should just shut up and deal with it. It's late in the show.
Definitely, I would say that's shut up and deal with it. Kind of shrug, because you definitely don't want to call them on it in the moment. But start stuffing some bills in their drawers. Lady Muffin Stuff.
Well, I don't see a problem with that. I was disappointed that this was an issue of her getting the bill versus getting cake through false pretense, because sometimes it might not taste as good if it's surreptitiously obtained. But I mean, if you don't feel like she's so what if she's paying the bill? I don't think she's breaking the bank. She's hopefully. Pick your battles. I mean, that over the person who doesn't want to get a vaccine. Let me play a tiny little violin for you. That is not that's not a problem. That's if she wants to pay, fine. Or make her a meal by surprise, or order food one night. If you wanted to feel equal.
Tell her it's her birthday to assert her dominance.
There you go. It's like, this is like a non-problem in my view. But
I there is that the idea of the financial dependence, or who is most financially responsible for bills. They don't need to lie and say it's their birthday to receive the bill. They could say, "Oh, I'm taking the bill." I think the only reason they say that is to prevent the argument that you would be having in front of the waiter about who should be getting the bill. So if they want to pay on time, at times, let them pay. But you make sure that you pay as well when you want to treat them. Show your appreciation, because they're obviously showing their appreciation for you.
Yeah. There was a friend who would always pay, and was pretty tough about letting me pay. So from time to time, I would get up to go to the bathroom and I would pay the bill, during that moment. And then, it was already paid. So there was no argument when that happened. So that's maybe something you want to do if you want to try and keep things even. But
or suggest that they do, if they don't want the argument at the moment, rather than lying, because it could be a place that does give a free dessert, and then they'll ask for my ID or whoever's ID at the time, and then the ruse is up at that point.
Yeah, you don't want to get banned from a place that gives free birthday cake.
No, definitely.
That's a problem. That'll have long-term consequences. You don't want to be doing that.
This show is making me in the mood for cake tonight, by the way. Just saying.
Bacon cake.
My man and I agreed we don't want kids, but lately my partner has been cooing and making faces at babies on the subway. Is this a bad sign? Lady Muffin Stuff.
Well, has your man said anything when you asked him about that? Because that's generally how you find out if they've changed their opinion. Maybe babies are cute. I think babies are cute. I don't want one. I like other people's babies, and I enjoy them, especially when I know I don't have to pay for their education, food, and medical care and whatnot. So maybe your baby, maybe your boyfriend or your partner just thinks they're cute. I don't know. Talk to them.
Votre.
I mean, I think an adult who sees, the cuteness and appeal in babies has a healthy relationship with the human race, Like, it's a very adolescent thing to be like, ew, breeders, gross. Your friends are going to start having babies. You might want to get on board with being a little birth positive. It kind of still horrifies me, but it's happening only because it's happening to more girls my own age, and I'm like, well, the times are coming up, it's something that's going to be a bit more present in my life. And if you've had the conversation that you don't want kids, it should absolutely be the follow-up conversation to what extent you want other people's kids in your life.
Boom. And to have somebody who is kind to children, I think that shows good empathy. But the one thing that we have not addressed at this point, communication has definitely been addressed. One of the things is, people can change their minds. So you want to have that discussion with your partner. If they've gone, you know what, I didn't want kids then. And the same thing can come at any point. Somebody can say consent to sex and then at a moment say, actually, I'm not feeling it right now. I kind of want to stop. And then at that point you stop, because that is not everybody's consenting at that time. So at this point, they might be rethinking their choice to not have children at that point. That doesn't mean that they no longer love you, but it does mean that the two of you need to have a conversation about what is in the future. And that's just the 2 cents that I want to put on top of the wonderful advice that was given by Lady Muffin Stuff and Votre at that
That's very well put.
Well said.
And we have only one more question at this point in time, but we are close to our 90-minute limit. Let us see.
We padded the show with so much Halifax chat.
I enjoyed my time there. I miss it
too. They literally have an ad campaign on right now that's like, the only thing you'll learn about Nova Scotia is that you should have stayed longer. And I'm like, that's what I said when I left.
They've ripped you off.
Get out of my head, Nova Scotia tourism.
Oh, all right. We're questions are coming in, so people want to make sure.
Forgive me.
The question we have here is, I'm dating someone in AA, and they say it's okay if I drink, but is that all right? I'm conflicted. If they say it's all right, take them at their word value, but also watch them to see if they are comfortable. Because sometimes people will say yes to a partner because they want to ease things with the partner, or they're concerned and happy to be with the partner and they want to keep that going. It's not just what people say, but how they act on the reaction to that, which is fine. Also, if you are together and you feel the need to drink, maybe you want to evaluate why you need to drink while you're with this person who is not drinking. Just a question. I enjoy a good drink, and I want to say thank you again to the Gin Torbay from Orshkabi. What is it? Ushkabi? Ushkabi.
As in Ushkaba.
Ushkaba, which is basically, so it's a francophone take on one of the root words for, or one of the root spellings of whiskey. So that is my take on that. Lady Muffin Stuff?
I agree. Take them at their word. Maybe check in more often. I don't know if you're spending all your time with them, and if this is a new sober situation for your partner. But take them at their word and maybe check in periodically to make sure that it's still good.
Boom. Votre down.
Boom.
I think it's such a good sign that you're falling for this person who has their own little journey, and that even though they've said, of course you shouldn't change your life, that you're also just like in tune and want to check in and make sure. So that's really wonderful. And if you have that kind of empathy, I think you'll probably enjoy spending more sober time with your sober partner, because you'll both be on the same headspace and you'll share that same register of reality, if you know what I'm saying. Like, you'll both be on the same page as you go out, as you do different kinds of activities like dinner parties and shows at the Wiggle Room, etc., that where drinking alcohol can be casually encouraged, but that you have this opportunity to experience in a new way. And I think you should let that virtue of yours be your guiding light.
I do want to point out that the Wiggle Room also will do virgin versions of their cocktails, because they are a cocktail lounge for anyone who wants to have a virgin version there of it. They're very accommodating.
Definitely.
All right. Are we ready for the last question then?
Last question already.
Last question already. It is cotton. Is it a question? All right. Cotton is soft. Sand is really gritty. The Love Doctor's guests are always so pretty.
Oh.
I've had a few drinks and now it's time for bed to picture the Love Doc in dreams in my head.
Oh.
It's not really a question in there. I might want to add a question to that. Do you find that a little creepy? Just
no, I can't think of a better way to end a show. Thank you for that art and that poetry and that love.
Completely.
Definitely.
I love the anonymity and the mystery. I love the rhyming couplets. It's all working for me.
Right.
I'm always been a fan of couplets.
Like, if that was a voicemail left on my phone from an unknown number, that would be creepy.
Mm-hmm.
The medium is the message, is what they taught me at school.
True. Thank you, Marshall McLuhan, on that one. So we will sign off at this point. Just a reminder for anyone who wants to donate. If you're watching this on a replay, you can. If you're listening to us, by the way, we're a podcast now. There's an audio only podcast. This will be rebroadcast in the morning via Anchor FM. So you can look for the Love Doctor live stream replays. And I believe there's a link on my Facebook page. So let's just give that poem again. Cotton is soft, sand is sorry, I messed it up. Not really, it's real.
Sand is gritty.
No, cotton is soft and sand is real gritty. The Love Doctor's guests are always so pretty.
Even though it's going to be a podcast, I promise not to stop dressing up for your show.
There's always the video, and the people who are listening to the audio only can come see it. The second verse being, I've had a few drinks and now it's time for bed to picture the Love Doc in dreams in my head.
Oh.
There we are. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Spicy Sparkle's been there from the beginning. Thank you very much, Spicy. Thank you to everybody. Thank you, everyone who hit like. Make sure that you're subscribed to the Facebook page and subscribed to the YouTube channel. I love you all. Good night.
Good night. Thank you for having us.
Good night.